Oh, what's up, crackheads? So today we've got episode 8 of Crack's Commute cassette review, and originally when I saw the tape that I picked out, at first I was really excited, and then I was really sad because while it's my favorite American death metal band, like by a landslide, it is easily one of their worst releases. Their worst release from their prime era of 1989 to 1992, when the band really shined. This is their definite low point, and I bought the tape a long time ago when I was a kid. I was really excited to get it because I had loved their Mental Funeral album that came out before it, and I was also a big fan of Acts of the Unspeakable, which came out the same year. And if you haven't guessed by now, that band is Autopsy, and the release is their Fiend for Blood EP. So this came out in 1992, and like I said, that was like a crucial time for Autopsy. And Autopsy is a great band. Mental Funeral is one of my favorite records of all time. And the reason I like Autopsy so much is they're not just like your typical death metal band. They really experimented with slowing down their music and having some very crushing doom elements. And they also weren't afraid to show some of their other influences like hardcore and grindcore. And so on Fiend for Blood, since this is an EP, there's only 6 tracks. And it's one of those tapes where it repeats, like the A side is the same as the B side, because the whole thing clocks in at just over 12 minutes. So very short. And 2 of the songs actually clock in at under a minute. One is like 28 seconds and one is like 45 seconds. And one of those tracks, the title track, Fiend for Blood, sounds more like a hardcore song than anything this band has ever done, in my opinion. It's very fast, very definitely hardcore influenced, like as far as the music goes. I also think for Autopsy, this might be their weakest release vocally. Some of the vocals on this thing are just god awful, and some of the lyrics are just so fucking disturbing and stupid. For instance, there's one song, what is it called? A Different Kind of Mindfuck, that is just fucking terrible. Like, it's not even, it's just gross for the sake of being gross. And if you can imagine with a title like that what it's about, you're probably on the right track. What do I want to say about this band that's good, or this album that's good? There is 2 songs on here that are totally worth hearing though. Squeal Like a Pig and Keeper of Decay are both great tracks. They're not great, but I mean, compared to the pile of shit that this tape is, they sound great. In regards to the rest of the tracks on this thing, but they're not bad. They are actually pretty good songs, but they're definitely like not worth picking this release up for by any stretch of the imagination. We can talk about the packaging a little bit. This was released by Peaceville, which used to be one of my favorite labels as a kid, and they got very shady in the 90s. In fact, one of my favorite bands, Doom, actually put out a release called Fuck Peaceville, because Peaceville fucked Doom over in the mid-90s. But, yeah, so again, like Autopsy, they're an Oakland, California band, still active, started in 87. Their crucial releases were between like 89, 92. Some of their new stuff isn't bad, but that's their best years, especially Mental Funeral. Awesome record. But yeah, standard case. This is kind of funny. I got this for $2.99 at the Last Unicorn, which was a like a record store that was close to where my dad used to live, that I used to like ride my bicycle to and fucking get tapes and records as a kid. And I was so happy when I saw this, because I was like, oh, this is from 92? Like, this has to be so good. And I was pretty disappointed even then. But I haven't listened to this tape in like 10 years, so that's pretty crazy. But so the J card, you know, just, you know, your regular J card that you'd always get from Peaceville. It's got the lyrics in here, which is not exactly worth reading. I think the lyrics on this thing are probably the weakest the band did in that era. A different kind of mindfuck is just so disturbing, and that actually leads into Dead Hole, which is just, I don't know. It's like a story, and it's not a good one. It's pretty gory. But yeah, so you just get your typical J card track listing here. Nothing special. Tape again, nothing special. Just a clear tape. And like I said, the A side is the same as the B side. It just repeats itself because it is only a 12-minute EP. And Caroline released this in the U.S. because they were Peaceville's U.S. distributor. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Autopsy's Fiend for Blood. It pains me to say it since I like Autopsy so much, but I gotta give this a skip it. It is not worth your time. If you are interested in hearing the tracks off this thing, I would steer you in the direction of Acts of the Unspeakable, because that was re-released once in the late 90s and once sometime in the 2000s. And both re-releases of that record contain this EP, so if you really want to hear that, or hear this, I would say definitely go for Acts of the Unspeakable re-release. It has this and some bonus live tracks that are worth checking out. But Autopsy, great band. I just happened to pull out probably their worst record that I have. They've got a couple other bad ones, but I think this is the lowest, especially from such a crucial year for this band. Like this should have been amazing because it was trying to bridge Mental Funeral and Acts of the Unspeakable, and it just didn't work. Even with the guest appearance by what the fuck is that guy's name from Sodus? George Dio Georgie or whatever his name is. He was the guest bass player. He's played on other stuff with them, but even his stuff, his contribution didn't make up for the lack of creativity and time that went into this thing. But if you're into death metal, especially death metal with an emphasis on doom and a very dark atmosphere, definitely check out Autopsy. But I gotta give this release a skip it. Go for Mental Funeral or Acts of the Unspeakable. Crack out.